Great evening to you, wonderful people. Welcome inside the Black Star Project. We are broadcasting from the Xfinity Studios at WVON Radio 1690, the talk of Chicago. My name is Herb Howard, alongside my equal parts brilliant and beautiful co-host, the one and only Miss Juliet Scott. Jules, how are you?
I am excellent, and I'm getting older and wiser. And so I'm approaching another year in the very near future. This is kind of exciting.
Certainly the former, for sure, for sure.
Say
Um,
what?
see, see. Uh, no, we hope all of you guys are doing well out there. Also, thank you so very much for choosing to tune into the conversation this evening. We greatly appreciate you all tuning in. Before we get started with today's conversation, got to let you guys know what is going on over at the Black Star Project. Of course, huge shout out to our executive director, Miss Gloria Smith. We always certainly appreciate you, appreciate your leadership, appreciate your strength as you've been helping your family get through some tough times here recently, but continuing to show up for everybody as you always do. So, Miss Gloria, huge shout out to you. We appreciate you and we love you. This summer, the Black Star Project has 15 interns who are assigned to various locations throughout the city. The program wraps up on July 31st with a community celebration. Stay tuned for more information on that. We are grateful to the organizations that provided work sites for our students and for our sponsors, including Partnership for Safe and Peaceful Communities program and the Mayor's Chicago Youth Works program. Shout out to the Black Star Project staff and volunteers, especially Pam, Lindsay, Michael, Mariah, and Coach Q for making this program fun for the youth and helpful for the organizations. Today, the young folks met with State Rep Marcus Evans, who talked about how a bill becomes the law, the importance of voting, and what they need to do to get ready for the next phase of their lives. He also talked about Emmett Till and the recent law that was passed to honor him on July 25th. Shout out to Senator Kimberly Lightford. She is hosting her annual back to school event Saturday, August 1st at the Brookfield Zoo. We invite everyone to come out and join us for a day of food, fun, and education, and free back to school supplies and books for the kids. Entrance to the zoo and parking are free as well. Registration starts at 1 p.m. Stay tuned for more information on our fall programs as we gear up for our 30th anniversary in October. Jules, do you remember turning 30?
Let me think about that. I might be
Oh
able
no,
to if
take
I
your
thought
time.
long enough.
Take your time. Take your
No, the
time.
show's only an hour.
It's been a while.
Well,
It's been a while.
wait a minute. There you go again.
It's been a while, you know?
I appreciate my years of wisdom and experience. I
As
always
you
tell people
should.
that complain about getting older, I say, consider the alternative. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm not knocking it.
You can get older or you can die young. So those are
Yeah.
the two options.
Yeah, so yeah, I like the former. I'll get older. Thank you very much.
You gotta count how many summers you got left, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to count. It seems so finite. Like, oh, I don't want that.
Just to make sure you're taking advantage, just to make sure you're getting outside, enjoying summertime shy or traveling, whatever, may be on your agenda or your desires or your bucket list or what have you, you know?
Yeah. Speaking of traveling, my movement has been a little different since my auto accident, but I've had some
Right.
really phenomenal experiences in the last 2 weeks. And a friend of mine's introduced me to a tow truck driver. So I want to say hello to Matthew, by all means LLC, for all the support and the education he gave me around, having my vehicle towed, even to the fact that I ended up junking a couple of vehicles. So if anybody has any extra vehicles sitting around and they want somebody come get them, reach out to Matthew, all means towing LLC. And then I borrowed a car from a friend of mine's. And so that
Like you
car
borrowed a friend.
needed
Let me use your friend right quick. I'll give
car.
them back.
Yeah, who's your friend? Can I borrow? Sometimes though, you need to borrow friends because there's things that you have to get done, like cleaning out
No,
the
that's true.
basement or the garage. We need a lend a friend app or something like that because sometimes it just gets to be too much.
No,
But
that's true.
regarding the car that I was borrowing, it needed a little bit of work. And so I was very grateful to be able to take my car back over to my friends over at B&G Customs. They are in Orland, and I've been with them for some years now. They have assisted with making sure I was okay for the emissions, getting the air conditioning running. And it's just nice to slow down and acknowledge the people in your world that make things move better for you. So
Yeah.
thank you, B&G Customs in Orland Park. Thank you, Benito. Thank you, Gabe.
Well, shout out to them both. Shout out to BNG and shout out to Matt as well for coming through in the clutch. Listen, life is going to life. That is the only thing we know for sure. Life is going to life, but anybody who's able to show up and make those challenges a little bit lighter, be it a friend you borrowed, or a professional that provided good and timely service, we appreciate that for sure, for sure.
Yeah. You know what else I appreciate?
What's that?
So, I'm not completely into sports, but I do know that this is WNBA All-Star Weekend in Chicago, right?
Look at you. Look at you. Yes, all of the best women basketball players in the world have descended upon our lovely city of Chicago. They get to enjoy some summertime shy. I know they were hanging out at the Obama Center. I know there are lots of activations at like McCormick Place and other places all around the city. So yeah, WNBA All Star Weekend is upon us.
I remember when we used to do the articles, or the young people were doing articles about how they're not getting enough attention
Yeah,
and how they're not paid comparably to men in sport in basketball.
right.
And I was looking online, and apparently the tickets are 340, some of the
Wow.
entry level seats. And I remember talking to a gentleman last year from the West Chesterfield community, Mr. Washington. He said, I've been holding seats with them a long time, but they gotten so high now. So that's wonderful, you know, that they're so celebrated and getting the attention that they deserve. And I guess it's also challenging for the people that was in the beginning
Yeah.
to see those rates climb exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what it is. You certainly are happy for the women in today's game to get the notoriety that they deserve, and I still think they don't get it at the level that they do deserve, and they aren't yet paid um, certainly anywhere near comparable wages to the men's game. I understand that it's not as popular a game, and so you don't get the same amount of ad dollars and media buy-in and things like that. So I get that part of it, but they certainly have gotten more than they have in the past. And is that unfortunate for players of the past that didn't happen in their day? Sure, it is. You
Mhm.
talk about the people like the Cheryl Miller or Cynthia Cooper or Cappy Pondexter, who was from Chicago, and so many others who didn't get to, who were not paid commensurate with their skill level, right? And so that's just kind of what it is. I mean, that's true in all sports. You go back to Dr. J, there are players in the NBA today who couldn't hold a candle to Julius Erving, but they certainly make astronomically more money than he made throughout his entire career. So part of it is just how things go, and then part of it is there's more work to be done for sure.
Isn't that something though, when you think about the type of foundational work that has to go into the development of anything, like you're
Yeah,
you're on somebody else's back, somebody else's work made it possible for you to be in a different position. I don't care what arena you're talking about. And I just wonder, how was it like for the pioneers of this sport to see the progress and understand their role in it? And then I wonder how well it is acknowledged.
yeah. I'd imagine that they have mixed feelings about it. Certainly, there's some
Mhm.
resentment. That's just natural, but I also think that there's some pride in the expansion of the game and the foundation that they laid. Somebody had to start the thing. Somebody had to
Mhm.
say, "Hey, we can play too," and then be really, really good at it and try to expand the game. I think a lot of those former players have had opportunities to grow the game in different ways, that whether that's through becoming members of the media and announcers, or coaches and different things like that. So they've been able to expand the game. You look at somebody like Don Staley, who is currently the head women's basketball coach at South Carolina. They've won multiple national championships. She's absolutely amazing, but she was also an amazing player in her
Mhm.
time. She was a point guard back in the day, and she was on the Olympic team, and she did, play in WNBA in its earliest times. But like we said, they weren't making the same amount of money. But through her ability to coach, to recruit some of the very best, young women athletes to coming into college, and then to develop them and help them go on and advance in their career. She's done a lot for the game. She remains one of the biggest stars in the game of women's basketball, collegiate or professional. And so, there are other ways they've continued to pour into the game that they love so much, and put so much into. And sometimes you see some of those things start to come back. And I hope as many of them as possible are somehow involved. I hope that the WNBA is doing everything that it can do to include the pioneers of the game who have set the foundation and laid a blueprint for what it looks like now. You also see a lot of manufactured marketing happening with the WNBA now. And so you look at, a player like Caitlin Clark, and you look at like Angel Reese, who was initially drafted here and played for the Sky. She's now down in Atlanta playing for them for a trade I just don't understand, but that's another conversation. But they pit those two women against each other based on uh, their collegiate play, but also based on their color. And then you got one in Indiana, and you have one that was in Chicago, and then they kind of just pit them kind of against each other, and that, for better or worse, grew the game. People like
Mhm.
controversy, people like that type of competition. The NBA did that masterfully in 1979 when Magic Johnson and Larry Bird played in the collegiate national championship game. Larry Bird was at Indiana State, Magic Johnson was at Michigan State. You had this, flashy black player who, made these highlight reel kind of plays, and it was a little bit different from anything that the NBA had seen at the time. And then you had Larry Bird, who's, white dude from rural Indiana. It's like that's a different situation. And so the NBA looked at it and saw a great opportunity, and they said, okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put Larry Bird in Boston, which is
Mhm.
historically one of the whitest cities in the country, right? And then we'll put Magic Johnson out in LA and Hollywood, and make it the Showtime Lakers,
Mhm.
and we got the Boston Celtics, and now you got this coast and that coast, and it creates a spectacle that carried the league for years and years and years as the Celtics and the Lakers continue to um, win championships and play each other in those championships. And you would see Larry Bird and Magic Johnson on the cover of all these magazines, and it grew the popularity of the game for as long as it could. And then along comes a kid named Michael Jordan, and it's like, well, this
Mhm.
this dude is like
I remember
flying through.
those days.
Yeah, this dude's like flying through the sky at North Carolina. It's like, oh, really? Yeah, and he's clearly the best player in the country, and he'd already been on the Olympic team. And um, Bobby Knight, who is widely regarded as one of the greatest collegiate coaches in the men's game all time, and especially at that time, he says, "Listen, Michael Jordan's the best player in the draft. You got to draft him if you got the number one pick, and or the number two pick." And legend tells it that, they told Coach Knight that, hey, we need a center. Michael Jordan plays guard. And he was like, I don't care. Play Michael Jordan at center. He's better than everybody else. Well, Michael Jordan ends up going third.
Mhm.
And to me, I don't find that as coincidental as some people, right? He goes third, and he's placed in Chicago, in the Midwest, in the middle of the country. And we got Larry Bird over here, and we got Magic Johnson over there. We put
Ah,
Michael
I
Jordan right in the
see.
middle. The other two teams that had those draft picks ahead of him, the first and second draft pick, were in uh, the Northwest in Seattle,
Mhm.
and then in Houston. And I think it behooved the NBA to place Michael Jordan, the next new star, in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I think the WNBA saw a similar opportunity, and it's worked brilliantly, right? It's worked brilliantly, not only for the WNBA, but it's worked well for Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese individually. And so, is it, are there some things you can take issue with that kind of approach? Sure. But does it work well for the game? Absolutely. Ultimately, it brings more dollars in. Everybody gets paid a little bit better. And so it's just kind of what it is. That's just kind of what it is.
So there's a playbook for it, a
There's a playbook
long-standing
for it.
playbook.
Yeah, it was a very well laid blueprint. It worked masterfully for the NBA, and it seems to be doing the same for the WNBA.
Hmm, I like that. Not that the conflict, but the fact that the WNPA is doing well and getting notoriety, and we're getting a chance to see more from women in non-traditional roles. Like we've been seeing that for years, but it's just nice that it's growing out the way it is.
Yeah,
Minus the conflict, for me. But however it's happening and nobody's getting hurt in the process.
yeah,
I
no, that's
guess that's
real.
a win. I guess that's a
Definitely,
win.
definitely counted as a net positive. I like to say.
I like that net positive. So not all good, not all bad. It's there's a net positive. So we
Net
on the upper
positive.
side of the balance sheet.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can go with that. I can go with that.
indeed, 51%. Um, did you ever play any sports? Like,
No,
did you
I
play
like
basketball growing up?
volleyball.
Okay,
No, but a lot of people thought that I could or would because of my height.
yeah,
So yeah, I've been one of the long legged girls for a long time,
yeah,
but I never really got interested in sports. It's funny though, because as I get older, I'm more curious about things. Like I've been trying to do martial arts since I was probably in my teens, and now I'm a little bit more focused. Like, what would that look like now? Maybe I should try that. And
yeah. Holler at Q. Shout out to Marquin McDonald. He'll get you on point.
I think so. I think so. But he's doing so many other things nowadays.
Yeah,
But
but he's doing that anyway. He's never going to stop
yeah,
doing martial arts. So just hop in one of
yeah.
his courses, and he'll get you together.
He just finished something with the women recently.
Yeah, no, he does
Self
that. He does women's self defense classes often for anybody who's looking to get into some self defense classes or just get active, get moving, learn martial arts or any of those skills. Mark Quinn McDonald is who you should reach out to. You should get in touch with him. He's a master martial artist. A lot of people go call him Sensei of Chicago, but he's also
hmm
just a super great dude, a heart of gold, pure service, and
hmm
he's a master at what he does. So if you're interested in that, definitely reach out to Mark William McDonald. He's been on the show with us several times, but you can just search him on Facebook or Instagram and find him and sign up for his classes.
I love how our family is so accessible, and that's a beautiful thing about our community. And
Mhm.
Chicago, as big as it is, it's kind of small. And
Yeah,
I'm,
absolutely.
yeah, I think I want to make it smaller though.
Okay.
So a friend of mine, she's in Indiana, and she was sharing with me about her Facebook group. And they put up messages like, "Oh, I'm looking for my dog," or "I'm looking to get rid of this, let's say, piano in my living room." And so I think that's a way in this virtual world to be more connected because we're not really knocking on our neighbors' doors. We don't know which doors to knock on. Some people just don't want to be bothered. But if we build an online community, like smaller pods of online communities, I wonder what that would do for us.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great way to kind of make things a little bit smaller. I think that's necessary. And why not?
Why not?
I think the more we take those initial steps, just first of all, tap into who you are. I think that's the first step to figuring out like
Yeah.
who your community is. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? I mean,
hmm
outside of my name is Herb and I work here and I live here. Like, okay, cool, wonderful. Who are you? Like, what do you like to do? What type of things are you into? Where would you like to be engaged with the community, or where would you like to grow some community? What type of like, do you want to get into bowling, or do you want to get into gardening, or do you want to get into martial arts, or whatever? Um, Find out things you like to do and then take the step to get involved in those things. And then your community will kind of start to form around you. I think that the universe, believe this wholeheartedly, and I talk about it often, is the universe is just waiting on you. Like, what do you want to do? Like, what is it that you want to do? What are you know, interested in? And then lean into that with your full self. And I feel like the universe is like waiting on you, like, okay, here's that. It's not going to be void of any challenges or whatever, but it will be there for you.
Yeah. One of the things that we often talk about, like when Brother Sadiq visits us, is just being ready for it physically. And I think for me right now, as I'm getting older, I don't want to be
Ooh.
the
Oh, I'm sorry, I said that out loud. My bad.
you did, mind your business. I don't I want to maintain being able-bodied. And I
Hmm.
see the athletes in their 70s, that there's a whole arena for people that are still moving around and engaging um in high levels of fitness
Yeah.
and movement even in their older age. And so I think that that's an important, like, even as we're looking to identify our interests, we got to make sure that we're able bodied. So, as it's because sometimes it takes a minute to figure out what you want to do. You've got to try a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And by the time you figure it out, some years may have gone by. And
Hmm.
so I just think that an important part of that is making sure we stay physically fit and we're eating right and we're moving around.
Yeah, no, for real. And I think that, a lot of times we talk about this fitness and these great fitness levels, and it's really small things that we can do to just,
Hmm.
keep ourselves moving and a little bit healthier, and like walking. There's a comedian named Tony Baker, and I was looking at his Instagram page yesterday or today, and he had reposted something that he was found out about just walking in general and the different levels of benefit that you get from different durations of walking. And it was like 10 minutes. Like at 10 minutes, you start walking for 10 minutes and you start to get these benefits from like mood or just how you feel and different things like that. And then they talked about the benefits that come from walking at 30 minutes, then an
Hmm.
hour, and it went up to 2 hours, which is more than I'm planning on walking around. But I think I think that certainly everybody can find 10 minutes to do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then he got into what 30 minutes looks like and the different benefits from there and how they start to become physical benefits more than just a mood change or trying to get your heart rate elevated and those types of things. And so um, everybody can just find time, just walk around the block. And that's another way that maybe you can build some community. Who else want to take a walk around the block?
Yeah.
uh, and you guys can meet up and just take a quick walk around the block. It could be 10 minutes and you're right back to doing whatever you were doing before. It's also a good way to build community and, see who's in your neighborhood and what's going on. So, those type of small things, like sometimes we think about, getting in shape or fitness and it's like, oh, I got to start going to the gym every day for 2 hours and I got to start, you know, eating raw fruits and vegetables every day. It's like, hey, let's just start with a 10-minute walk. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Can we start with a 10-minute walk every day and see where we can go from there? And so, it don't take much. It don't take much.
It don't take much. And now's a good time for it. It gets cold in Chicago.
Yeah,
Summertime shot does not last forever.
it lasts for about 10 minutes. Um, yeah, but they talked about, in the thing that I'm speaking of, they talked about the additional years of independence that it adds to the end of your life
Okay.
and how on average, based on the duration of walking on a daily basis, this group had 2 more years of independence on the back end of their life, or this group had 7 more years of independence on the back end of their life. And so, just being moving and, a lot of times when people aren't independent later in life, it's not like they've lost their faculties mentally or anything like
Mhm.
that. I just can't be here by myself because I might fall, or I can't stand up and walk around, or I can't stand up and cook me something, or I can't, you know, easily get in and out of the shower, those types of things. And so that's where you lose your independence. And I think everybody wants to maintain their independence for as long as possible. And if, a 10-minute walk every day, a 30-minute walk every day could extend that on the back end, sounds worth it to me, Jules.
I agree with you. And interestingly enough, as it relates to building a business, your health can impact what you're able to do.
Mm,
So I have a friend that I think it was last year who was building out a business and applied for SBA loan. And so the loan amount, they wanted the business owners to have a matching policy. And so whether or not you can afford a policy, let's say the loan was 500,000 or a million, like imagine what the rate on that loan would be if you are unhealthy or
Right.
if, whether or not you can get it or not. So that can literally impact your ability to scale up a business, whether or not, you're healthy.
Yeah, no, that's real. And your ability to perform within said business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're able to get it
Yeah.
started. So, yeah, I mean, listen, health is wealth. We all understand that. We hear it. It sounds a little bit cliche, but it's legit. It is what it is. You got to be able to get out here, and just maintain. Again, I don't foresee a six pack in my future.
I want
Period. Well, I can
one.
foresee that in your future. We're talking about my future here. All right. Don't be so selfish, Jules. Um,
Me. This is Leo season. Let's be clear. Me.
yes, yes, yes. You Leos are here. We hear y'all meowing all around. I mean, roaring all around. We hear y'all roaring all around. Happy birthday to all the Leos out there. Interestingly enough, I'm surrounded by them. Like they're everywhere in my life. Like I don't know if that's an Aries Leo thing, but they're all around me. So shout out to the Leos.
I didn't meet a lot of other Leos until I was an adult. And I think two was the first Leo male that I met. Like
Mm,
that's like
yeah.
in my circle. And one of my favorite
Mhm.
people on the planet. I love seeing his posts lately about the book that he's working on. So hey two.
Shout, shout out, shout out to our brother too. Um, yeah, man, you gotta, keep things going. I'm often inspired a little bit, at least, by these young athletes that I work around, and the Bears are reporting to training camp today, right? Their rookies report today, the quarterbacks, Caleb Williams, they reported today, and then the veterans report here in a couple days. But like, they are so physically fit, and it's like
Yeah.
I kind of remember when I could run around, not like that. Never was I at that level, but I remember when I could, run around all day and hit the weight room and get out on the field and yada yada yada, and my shirts fit a certain way. I remember that, like, and kind of let it go slowly. And it's like, how we gotta get back to that. We gotta get back to that just a little bit. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, you hopefully, the Bears have a good training camp and they turn that into another good football season because
Yes. I'll be sending
I
my prayers.
please do. Because the city is always better when the Bears are good. I don't care what anybody says. Chicago is a much much better place when the Bears are good. It's just fun. It makes the winters more tolerable to get through.
Not so
Uh,
wintry. Winters
yeah,
aren't
it's
so
just
wintry.
yeah, it's like everybody's having fun, and we're talking about the Bears and they're winning games, and you got Sundays you can look forward to, and heck, now the NFL plays on almost every day of the week except like Tuesday. So,
That's
who knows?
different
But yeah, the NFL just tries to take
compared to
over
how we
everything. They're
came up.
they're just greedy. They just greedy. More, 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 more. So they're trying to expand internationally now, which is why I see so many games played overseas and London and Spain, like they're everywhere. So, um, the NFL continues to grow. But I'll just hope that the Bears do good. They don't have an international trip this year. They were one of the teams that were considered for one. Fortunately, they did not get one because I didn't want to go. Um, I didn't want to go overseas for a football game. I did it a couple years ago. They played the Jacksonville Jaguars in London, and that I
Mhm.
went over there, and the trip was cool. It was better than I expected. I never really had any desire to go to London. It was never one of those places like, oh, I need to go to London. But it was better than I expected. It was a decent time. So shout out to London. But yeah, I want the Bears to have another good season. It's good for me professionally. It's good for me personally.
Yeah. Yay,
me, me,
Bears,
me,
go
me,
Bears.
me.
Uh-oh, I hear the inner Leo coming
Right,
out.
right, right, right.
My niece just got back from Europe. She's a veteran, so this she
Mhm.
she just finished her time with in service to the United States Army. So, hello,
Shout out to your
Imani, welcome
niece.
home.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your service, Imani. Welcome home.
So it was really nice. I got a chance to see her today, and now she's
I
headed
bet
to
Imani
Colorado.
is fit.
Yes, I was looking at her like, oh my God, I want to be like that.
Me too. but I don't want to go to the army. They wouldn't even
That might
accept
be
me.
the
I'm
only
too
way.
old.
Like, it's wonderful being grown. And my daughter, she's interesting to me. It's like, man, mom, I really like being a young person. I'm not really looking forward to being an adult. But me, when I was young, I was like, I can't wait to be an adult. I want to make my own decisions. I want to move around like I want to move around.
Yeah, yeah.
And so just, oh, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
real thing.
So,
It's a
yeah,
real thing.
I think that just, but the part of that, when we have that mentality, we can make that decision like, yeah, I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like going to the gym. But then you have an institution like the Army that says, no, you're exercising today, period.
We're taking that choice away from you. This is what you're going to do, which is probably what I needed. I think I've never worked out like consistently on my own. I only did it when I had like trainers and coaches that were like, "Yeah, we're in the gym at this time, and you have to be there." I was like, "Oh, okay." But this idea of me just going like, "Hey, let's go to the gym every day."
Mm.
Why are we doing that?
Right. I'm working on reprogram. I thought about it recently. I said I want to reprogram myself around that. I think all of our behaviors are based in our programming, whatever our programming
Absolutely,
may be, whether it
absolutely.
be intentional or not, it's programming. So if you don't put the effort to move in one direction, whatever you've absorbed over time or have experienced, it's going to push you in another direction, but it's still all programming. So I think I decided, I think I'm going to spend this 50th year reprogramming. I have the ability. I can. I think I can. I think I can.
Tell the people when you turn 50.
uh, August 8th.
Yeah.
I have a friend. She came to visit us. Maybe she'll come back and spend some more time with us. Our Arteria Moon. And apparently August 8th is the Lionsgate portal. So I don't fully know what that means.
What does that mean?
But it's a really good time to set forth some new intentions. And,
Oh,
and
okay.
so it's just a
And
good
it's your
time to
birthday,
read.
and it's
And it's my
50.
birthday. And it's 50. Yeah. But my
Oh,
sisters, they've been asking me, what do I want to do for my birthday? Like, I don't know. I think I want to celebrate 51 because I want to see what I do with 50. Like, I'm just moving from 49 to 50. I don't know that that's really a big accomplishment,
no,
but
no,
I would
no, no,
like
no,
to.
no, no, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is a big
No,
deal,
I think
not
I
just because it's
would.
50, like because it's another birthday, it's another rotation around the sun, it's another year older, another year wiser, another year of experiences, another year of survival, another year that didn't break you, another year that helped mold you. So yeah, it's a big deal. We should celebrate. Knowing you will be right here on these airways because the 8th is a Saturday.
I
Um,
know.
so we'll just have a party on the radio. So everybody call in a couple of weeks and wish Jules a happy birthday on the 8th because she'll be having a birthday party on air.
Yes, quite possible. It's quite possible.
I'm gonna
But
try to get her
I
to do something else, but we'll see.
to be continued.
Right.
But just looking at making decisions around, just life and movement now. I'm focusing on being intentional. And I not to knock 50. I know a lot of times we celebrate those milestone birthdays, but I just want to see what I do with it before I have this big old bash. So look for my 51st birthday, everybody.
That's cool, but
It'll be a
no,
public
like
event.
no, you don't have to. You don't have to do nothing to like deserve. Like you deserve to be celebrated just because.
Yeah,
It's not
I
like you got to
mean,
place these milestones and these check marks. Like, oh, do I deserve to be celebrated? Yes, you do. Just because you are you and you deserve to be celebrated.
yes, I'm not knocking it at all. Just
Not like, oh,
smaller this year.
if I get this 6 pack, then I'll have a party. Like, no.
Yes, I think I'll plan for a six pack for 51. I'll spend all 50 getting it getting it together.
Better start doing those sit-ups now.
Yeah, I'll be ready for next summer because like you said, this summer is it's a wrap. It's a wrap. But like I've enjoyed like our time with Brother Sadiq.
Yeah, he
It
texted me
kind of
earlier today too. I got to catch up with him.
he hasn't been with us in a minute. We got to get him back in here.
He's a busy man.
He is, but he loves his community, especially his Black Star family, and
Absolutely.
all of our listening audience. And so it's just being nice around around that conversation because that's a part of being in community. And it's kind of where you get your encouragement and your reinforcement a lot of times. And so
And no, that's real. That's real. He's definitely a encourager, let's call it.
we need
But
those encouragers, especially if we're not going to join the army.
I certainly do. I certainly need the encouragement. So, you know, I
Oh,
uh I frown up, sometimes when Sadiq is on me, but I appreciate it and it's necessary. Otherwise, I'd
yeah.
already have a six pack and a extra clean bill of health.
So one
I
of the
have
things I've been
neither.
working, you have me. Well, you're able-bodied, and sometimes if our health is declining, we're not even that. We're alive, but
Yeah,
we're not able-bodied. So,
yeah. That's a little.
you winning.
That's when it's a little late in the game. I got to do something before it gets that late in the game.
hmm Speaking of which, I hope that we can have our friends over at GAGDC on soon. I spoke with a young lady over there, Miss Catherine Welch. So greetings to her. She introduced me to a space that they have in the lower level of GAGDC. They receive Pelotons from the company Peloton.
You
And
got to
so you
say
can
what
sign up.
GAGDC is.
Oh, that makes sense. So they're my family. So I'm so used to like, oh, GAGDC and everybody knows GAGDC. Not. Okay. Greater Auburn Gresham Community Development Corporation. They are in
There we
that
go.
building west on 79th, just past Halsted. It used to be a public aid a building. And so now they're in that space. And on the lower level, they have a Peloton room. So you can just go there and get signed up and you have use of the Peloton there. And I think they have like 14 or 15 cycles, but
Oh,
they
that's
also
awesome.
have this. Yeah, they have a grant, so you can sign up. You can't use the account anywhere, but you can just like you can't go to another facility, but you can go there
Yeah,
and use the bike and have your account, and it's at no cost. So those bikes are pretty expensive.
yeah, they are for sure, for sure. That's
So
really cool.
I remember when I got on a bike after not being on a bike for a while, and I hurt myself. But those
Oh
bikes
my
are
God.
stationary, so
Uh, ah,
it's a little bit better.
I need you to just stop falling. Like, just stop hurting yourself. Like, what is happening?
I don't know. Like, I woke up today and I'm like, where'd I get that bruise from? I don't remember running into
My
anything.
goodness. Sheesh.
But
I
I'm
guess.
having a ball. I enjoy the fact that I have the mobility that I have and I can bump into things and hurt myself. Not hurt
Yeah,
myself per se, but
it's not mobility isn't your problem. It's like balance and coordination and like what is happening? Like depth perception.
balanced and coordinated. Actually, I haven't been out dancing in a while, so I don't know how balanced and coordinated I actually am.
Wow. Wow. So we gotta get you in martial arts classes, cycling classes, dance classes. All right.
Well,
It's
live
gonna
long
be a
enough.
big year.
I can do something a year. Yeah. Every quarter, I'll do something new every quarter. And I'll invite people to join me. I'll build a community around like, what do you want to do new? I think
There
that'll
you
be
go.
fun.
You gotta ask
And
yourself,
because say it again.
I was gonna say you gotta ask yourself, when was the last time you did something for the first time? You know?
That is so interesting. But you know what? For me, that would be probably a couple of months ago. I have been grossly engaged in AI lately
Okay.
and its capacity. So I'm learning new things and I'm having a really good time.
Okay.
I'm getting more of my time back. And so I think that there's value in technology. There's a young lady who I like learning from, Chanel Monique, Automations Bay. And maybe I'll reach out and see if she'll come hang out with us sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be a
Because
good conversation to have.
yeah, I think that's important
I
because
mean,
AI is happening, whether we
yeah,
know it,
yeah,
to choose to learn it or not.
it's here. It is happening whether we, you know, choose to learn it or not, whether we like it or not. There are tons of, negative aspects of it. You talk about,
Mhm.
you know, climate change and global warming. You talk about these data centers and how much water they
Hmm.
use and all those types of
Hmm.
things. And those are very, very, very real conversations. You talk about the dangers that come with it and the ability to uh, project imaging that aren't real, those types of things.
Hmm.
But there's also a ton of good that comes from it and a ton of useful things. But like humans do, you know, if we can use it for good, we'll also find a way to use it for bad. So, you know what I mean? Like if we can use water to hydrate ourselves and clean ourselves, we'll also drown people. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's just
Yeah.
we're just terrible beings in that way. And AI
Yeah.
is no different. But it does have a lot of beneficial components to it. And we gotta, it's not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
it would behoove us to learn it, understand it, find out where it's useful, and then use it for the positive benefits that it can have on our lives.
Yeah. I had the same challenge when Bitcoins first was introduced. I had a
Hmm.
friend of mine that was telling me how important that it's going to be, and he even wanted to help me set up my own account. I think Bitcoins at the time was under $25.
Hmm.
And so, hello, Jim Lou. So he's been on with us before too. I was like, no, it's evil, and people use it to buy weapons. And he was like, well, they do that with money too. I said, yeah, but money's
Yes.
been around, and I don't want to contribute
I
to this new thing that's coming out, and blah blah blah.
mean, it's real. I mean, but that it's literally everything, though, right? It's literally
Yeah.
everything around us. And so, we talk about not wanting to contribute and not wanting to be a part of it. And you've heard me say many times, like, no single drop of water thinks it's responsible for the flood. And so I say
Right.
that a lot to encourage people to not, engage in harmful things. So you talk about like, littering, or people are like, I just threw one piece of paper down. Well, those pieces of paper add up, and no single
Hmm.
drop of water thinks it's responsible for the flood. But then you look around and the whole neighborhood is a mess because everybody's dropped one piece of paper, and it's like, don't engage in those things. But some things, as the world continues to turn, there's just no real way around it. Are you going to not have a cell phone? We all understand, the crimes against humanity that happen behind the production of cell phones. We all understand,
Hmm.
coltan and child labor and all those types of things. And so, uh,
Yeah.
I'm not oblivious to those things at all. I'm also not giving up my cell phone. You know what I mean? And so I use
Yeah.
it all day long. And it's like, so am I complicit in some of these things? Sure. I can't say I'm not with a clear conscience. So
Hmm.
yeah, but you got to try to find that. I don't know. I mean, can we go back to like primitive times where we don't have cell phones and we don't drive cars because we don't want to use the oils and the gas and like I don't think we can do that. So
Hmm.
you find ways to um, be a net positive on the world.
Yep.
Can I
That's what
can
I was
I
thinking
be
about.
can I be a net positive on the world because I do have a cell phone, I do drive a vehicle, I you know, I eat chickens, you know what I mean? So like, can I find a way to be a net positive on the world through other means? And so, I try. I'm aware of my uh, negative footprint on the planet, and I try to
Mhm.
be just as conscious of where I can be a positive footprint.
I think that's important for all of us. Like as we're building community, there are a lot of challenges that exist today that did not necessarily exist. It just seems like as the world gets older, the challenges get bigger. And so it's going to take more of us being on the same page and wanting to be a net positive in the world, working together to help make the world a better place. And like that's the premise from which I function. For the most part, I want to be a positive footprint as much as possible from now until the time I leave, or even before now until the time I leave. I remember being I think we are in Port Stewart, Georgia, and the I was married at the time, and the person signing the property over to us read a paragraph. It sounded like Charlie Brown language to me. I think I've shared
Wah,
this
wah, wah,
before.
wah.
Right, that's exactly what it sounded like to me.
Mhm.
And he said, all it means is when you leave, you want to leave this place in a better condition than what you found it. So you might need to plant a flower, whatever else, but leave it better in a better condition than what you found it. And so I like to take that on as a mantra in my life. Like I want to leave the world in a better place than which I found it. And so that's how I prefer to function. Not to say I'll never step out of character, but for the most part, I like to function that way.
Being that positive.
Being that positive.
That is the message for the day. Um, do what you're gonna do, and live how you're gonna live. Try to be a little bit better to yourself. Walking 10 minutes a day, eating a little bit better. Try to be a better member to your family, member to your community. Try to be a better steward of the earth that we've been blessed with. That was so perfectly designed until we started screwing it up. And just we all get out of here one day. When you do, be able to confidently say, I was a net positive on the earth. I did some things wrong. I harmed some people. I harmed the earth. I hurt some feelings. But all in all, if I honestly assess my lifetime, I was a net positive on this earth. And if you can do that, then you can go in peace.
Amen.
We got to go in peace. Got to make room for the one and only King Salim Muwakil coming up with the most astute listening audience in radio for the late, great Philip Jackson, for Juliet Scott, and for our engineer doing all of the hard work behind the glass. You all have an amazing evening.